Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at the 2024 Miniature of the Year. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Miniature of the Year 2024. Vote for your favorites here. 2024 has been packed with incredible new miniatures. And in a time-honored tradition, it's time to vote for your favorites in Miniature of the Year awards. This time, though, things are a little different. Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer Age of Sigmar are getting their own categories, including related games like Kill Team and Warhammer Underworlds. While our other games, including Warhammer the Horus Heresy, Warhammer the Old World, Necromunda, and Legions Imperialis, make up the third. Alright, so this actually makes a lot of sense for Games Workshop to break it down and now do a Warhammer 40,000 Miniature of the Year, and then also like related games such as Kill Team, etc. And then Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and then its related games as well. Because in the past, the player base is just so much bigger, or the fan base is just so much bigger for Warhammer 40k, that it was pretty much impossible for Age of Sigmar to win. And to tell you the truth, this is probably the weirdest year to do it in, because I think this year, the best models actually came for Age of Sigmar. So I wonder if this is something that Games Workshop is doing to legitimately make two different categories, or because they're afraid that Age of Sigmar actually has better miniatures. At least in 2024. And then obviously the games like Horus Heresy, Warhammer the Old World, Necromunda, Legions Imperialis, etc. The player or fan base for those games is just so much smaller that there's really no chance for them to compete, because even if everybody that was a Horus Heresy fan or an Old World fan voted for the same miniature, it still would be a fraction of the votes that would come in for just some of the top 40k miniatures. So it does kind of make sense for them to break it down like this, but honestly, I think they're afraid that the big bad 40k would get overthrown. So in January, we have the Tau Ethereal. In February, we have Big Bad Asuryani. In March, we have Asmodai. In April, we had the Little Blood Bowl team. In May, we had the Krule. In June, we have the Dark Oath. In July, we have the Skaventide, including the Stormcast Eternals and then the Skaven as well. In August, we have Celestian Sacrosanct Avaline. September, we have Vizek Scour. October, we have Astrath. November, we had the Little Rattling Crew. And then December, we have the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. And to tell you the truth, obviously there's a lot more miniatures that you could vote on, but realistically, if they're in this like picture, they represent sort of like the range refresh or like affiliated models that came out at the same time. But the top three models that I think are on the overall list for best miniature of the year, at least in the main like 40k and Sigmar category, are all on this list. In my opinion, Asuryani is absolutely amazing. And when he first came out, I already said that I thought this was probably going to be a candidate, if not the winner of Miniature of the Year. In August, we got Celestial Sacrosanct Avaline, and honestly, I think this is one of the best miniatures ever created. Absolutely beautiful. The picture here definitely doesn't do it justice, because the base itself and then also the flaming sword are two of the best parts of the model, and neither one of those is in the actual picture. And then in September, we got the new Skaven Verminlord character, Vizek Scour, and honestly, he is amazing. I do like the overall look of the new Blood Angels that came out, but mostly they were just sort of refreshes or rescales of the old miniatures and sculpts. There was a lot of other really cool models that came along the way. Some of the new Stormcast are absolutely amazing. But realistically, for 40k and for Age of Sigmar, now that they're two separate categories, I remember the way that the new Celestial Sacrosanct Avaline made me feel when that first came out. So she is 100% my 40k miniature of the year. And then at that point in time, the only decision I have to make is, was it February Asuryani or September Vizek Scour? Because they were absolutely amazing and both still are. So that is going to be a tough decision, that's for sure. In Warhammer 40,000, the Dark Angels have rallied their Primarch, while the Blood Angels descended on new Sanguinor and characters like the Martis and Astrath. The Xenos redoubled their efforts with the hunting party of the Krule, while characters mustered for numerous factions including new Space Marine Lords and soaring Battle Sister Canoness. So again, definitely some nice models right here. And if you talk about like who got the biggest glow up from their previous sculpts, the Krule are probably in the running for that. And then also if you start getting into units and stuff like that, the new Deathwing Knights for the Dark Angels are absolutely amazing. Definitely a huge fan of them. But I think one of the overall coolest kits that came out this year are the Inner Circle Companions. Not only is the actual kit awesome, but each of the individual sculpts and the build options for them is top notch. I think that kit alone embodies exactly the type of quality and optionality that Games Workshop embodies, being, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best miniature producer in the entire world. Kill Team, meanwhile, deployed loads of new operatives, including the Vespid Stingwings and Tempestus Aquilans. Vote for these and the rest of your favorites below. So there's a little link to go down there and vote. In the Mortal Realms, there were new movers and shakers like Trug the Troggoth King, Abraxia, Spear of the Everchosen, and the Summer King himself. Asuryani paved the way for the new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar with new Skaven and Stormcast Eternals, including the centerpiece miniatures like Vizek Scour and Iradan the Witness. Warhammer Underworlds moved to the depths of Emberguard with 4 new warbands added into the mix. Choose your favorite below. Over on Necromunda, we've had a foray into the Hive Secundus with the Spire Hunters and the Maelstrom Gene Stealers, while Gnomes and Chaos Dwarves hit the Gridiron and Blood Bowl. The Galactic Civil War heated up with the Solar Auxilia and Mechanicum arriving at 2 separate scales, and this year also marked the triumphant release of Warhammer the Old World, with brand new centerpieces of the Tomb Kings of Khemri and the Kingdom of Bretonnia. Whatever your favorite game system, you can vote for the best miniature of 2024 below. You've got until Friday the 13th of December to submit your vote, and we'll host the results here on Warhammer Community on the 31st. Please note that the survey host will be down for maintenance for part of Saturday, but you'll be able to record your vote before and after then. Now a quick word from today's sponsor, CMO Games. CMO Games carries a full range of Games Workshop products including miniatures, paint, terrain, tools, and more. They take pre-orders for most Games Workshop new releases as early as possible, usually 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. CMO Games offers 15% off of MSRP for most all Games Workshop products and offer fast free shipping to the continental United States on orders over $50. Most orders ship out within 24 hours. You know their customer service is top-notch as they've been selling games online for over 20 years. Use the affiliate link below and let them know that Warhammer Man sent you. So there's no mention of the miniature that I think is the absolute best for not 40k, not Age of Sigmar range, and that is the Warhammer the Old World Sorceress on the Unicorn. While normally I would do everything in my possible control to not vote for a forgeworld miniature, honestly the old Sorceress was absolutely awesome. It was a classic miniature and one that I always loved back in the day, but the new one is absolutely amazing. The Unicorn itself is stunning, the Sorcerer on top is amazing, and this is the perfect embodiment of them reimagining a model and making it exponentially better than the original. So for me, that's an easy decision. And then for 40k, it's got to be Celestial Sacristan Avaline, because as soon as that model came out, I was in absolute awe. Absolutely love that thing. I've got one on my list of stuff that I'm going to be painting very, very soon, and I am super excited for it. So I guess that means the only real question that I have to decide on is, do we give it to Asuryani or do we give it to Vizek Scour? And while both those models are absolutely amazing, and I definitely think they are massive glow-ups over anything that was in the existing range, the old Verminlord kit was always awesome, but Vizek Scour is just dialing that notch up to 10. And while I was leaning in the direction of Asuryani because he is just an absolutely amazing sculpt, and as soon as I saw him, I was super excited to paint him, I think in the end, Vizek Scour is going to get my vote for Age of Sigmar. So we're going to go Celestial Sacristan Avaline for 40k. We're going to go Vizek Scour for Age of Sigmar, and we're going to go for the Sorceress on the Unicorn for the other games. So let me know which models you were most excited about. There was obviously some awesome kits as well. The Deathwing Knights are super cool, but the Inner Circle Companions are definitely at the top of my list. But there's just something special about a single model kit, a special hero or character that's always going to push me in that direction. So let me know what your favorite miniatures are, who you're going to be voting for. Make sure to get those votes in the next couple of days, and then we'll talk again about it once we have the official results. But I suspect that probably a lot of people are going to be leaning towards some of those same miniatures I listed, because to tell you the truth, those are some of the standouts. Doesn't mean that there wasn't amazing models coming from all different ranges and all different factions, but for me, those are the ones that got me super excited. And the way that I judge what the best miniature is honestly not only just how cool they are, but how excited I am as a customer, as a hobbyist, as a painter to get that model built and then put some paint on it. So make sure to check back in a couple of weeks when we talk about who wins. Make sure to leave your comments down below and let me know who you're voting for. Always like to hear back from you guys. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products. And make sure to tell them that Warhammer Man sent you. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man. And before we leave, there is one other miniature I want to mention. The Warhammer Plus Inquisitor is absolutely amazing as well, but not quite better than Avaline. And I'm out of here.